Okay, so let's see if I can remember what I was doing here. We were digging out a little storage area here, so it's actually quite boring to watch, so let's do something else. We need to set up some storage upstairs as well for all the garbage that our dwarves will create. So, go into P for stockpiles. Right here, refuse. We want to set this somewhere near to the entrance to the fort, just so that they don't have to go too far outside. And so that later we can build a little wall around it. Right there. Now eventually the dwarves will grab all this little wood off of here so that it doesn't get thrown away, so to speak. We're also actually going to set a corpses stockpile out here, as morbid as that is. But if any of our dwarves do happen to get themselves killed, and they will, they won't be sitting in the hallway for everyone to see as they pass by. Now there's enough space down here where we can set up a couple of piles in here. The biggest one being food, get that in out of the rain. So we go into that same menu, hit F for food. We'll start right here below the farm, which no one has planted anything yet. I'm going to have to check up on that. Make a nice big pile for food. And right near that, we will do a small one for gems, which is E. Some dwarves will run downstairs and grab those gems we found earlier. Do another small one for weapons. Another one for armor. We will do one for... we need a big one for bars and blocks when we start making iron and things of that nature. They will all be right here. And eventually we'll need to build ourselves an anvil so we can actually make bars and blocks of things. Need one for ammo for when we start getting some guys carrying crossbows. Ammo tends to be a pain because once you fire it, it ends up in a stack of 1 forever after. A little one for cloth. And one for leather, which we'll put right over here. Now, we also need one for furniture storage and for finished goods, but those will need to be a little bit bigger, so we want to clear all this out first. Let this run. Oh, there we go. He's planting his first thing. I guess I spoke too soon. He was carrying a seed over there as we spoke. Where are our miners, do you suppose? They seem to be wandering off again. There's the charcoal we brought with us. There's a gem getting set right here. They're starting to plop down the food, seeds, and beer that we brought with us. Meanwhile, I want to know why this isn't being built yet. Needs brewing or plant gathering. Who do we have that can do that? Brewing is right here. The same guy who's... he's having a drink right now, that's why. Going back up to the surface. It would appear that everybody's grabbing everything from the wagon and bringing it down below where it belongs. Once we get everything down below, I will set up a meeting area downstairs so that everybody will get in and out of the rain instead of standing around by what's left of our wagon. And we will actually set that up right here. A little too wide entryway into a pretty good sized room that we can expand as we get more and more dwarves. still don't know where our miners went. Here's one of them. The other miner is storing stuff instead of mining like he should be. Well, as long as we're waiting, let's dig into the nobles menu, which is you hit the N key, and as you can see we've got an expedition leader and a bunch of vacant positions. The one thing we are going to want, well, two things, are broker and bookkeeper. Bookkeeper, I mentioned before, will keep track of all our stocks, whereas the broker is who does all the trading. If I remember correctly, we set a couple guys to have, this guy is set up to be our broker, because he can appraise the items that we're selling, so we get a fair price for them. So we'll set him for that. And bookkeeper, I don't know if we have anybody with any skills in that, so we'll just grab this same guy again. Wait, now I forgot who that was. Okay, expedition leader, yeah. He's also a miner, but we can set him up for this, and he can do that when he has spare time when we're not making him dig stuff. The other thing about that is, having set him as a bookkeeper, he now has a requirement. My textures are appearing to bug out a little bit here and making it disappear. But if you highlight bookkeeper and hit enter to look at him, he requires an office in order to do his bookkeeping, otherwise he won't do any of the bookkeeping. And he just needs a meager office, which essentially is a chair. And you'd like to give him a table too, so he has somewhere to eat his meals, because he'll want to eat in his office. But basically a meager office is literally just a chair. So what we can do is, once this is done building down here, we can make him a little chair in the corner, and that'll be his office. And our guys are getting scared by ravens. One thing about dwarves is they're scared of everything unless they're in the military. These things right here are terrifying the dwarves as they come running out and see a bird flying around. For dwarves, they're really not very brave. It looks like we've got some sort of gem here in the wall of our dining area. Let's take a look and see what that is. It is purple spinal. We're actually going to expand the dining area one set of tiles in that direction so we can grab that. So we hit D so we can dig that out. There's probably actually a couple more. There we go. And all this tetrahedrite makes me worried that we won't find any iron. But copper will serve for the time being. It's better than no armor. Okay, we've got enough room here we can build a stockpile for furniture at least. That is where all of the furniture will go. Imagine that. Furniture includes things like anvils, which for some reason we weren't able to get when we embarked. But hopefully when the dwarven caravan comes in, we will have some. Alright, see, you can see they're grabbing the beds that were sitting in that stock in the workshop and putting them in the stockpile. Meanwhile, I believe he's making a couple more. Yeah, there we go. We've almost got all the beds. Meanwhile, we're going to get into the mason's workshop, add a new task to add. We're going to get some tables, and, well, let's see, 4 tables, and then chairs, which are called thrones because they're made from stone for some reason. 4 of each. Our mason should grab some rocks from downstairs and start making those. Let's check on our stocks, make sure we're not running out of anything. Don't have any fish. Our fisher dwarf is not doing such a great job. It may just be because there's no fish, or maybe because we don't have a fishery set up. We have plenty of plants, plenty of meat, plenty of seeds, and plenty of drink, actually, so we should be alright on that front. Now, hopefully these dwarves clear out enough space for me to set up a finished goods stockpile so we can start making crafts to trade to the dwarven traders for that anvil that they'll probably have. The other thing we should probably get our carpenter making is bins. Bins allow you to store more than one item in a space in a stockpile, and you will see that once we start making them. We'll make those right now. That's a barrel. That is not a bin. We'll make that anyway, just because it's useful to have. But bins are... I pressed B, which is obviously not... There it is. Bins are N. Make several of those. A lot of those. They also allow you, when you're trading things, to carry them all upstairs in a bin up to the trade depot, as opposed to having your dwarves have to carry them one at a time. Alright, there's enough space. Let's make that pile of finished goods, which is G, I believe? Yes, G. We'll make this a pretty good size. There we go. And then we've got all this space right here for if we need more storage for anything. Downstairs here, we have our dining room all carved out. We also need a couple doors, which I will get our mason on making. Doors are D. Simple enough. There we go. You can see our first table has been built. It's sitting right there, as is the barrel I mistakenly built. The dwarves will automatically store things in barrels if they need more room to store things. There's our first mushroom, what the dwarves basically live on. There's our first bin. He's going to throw it over here in the gem stockpile, and someone will eventually come over and throw all these gems into that bin. Let's check down on the mining downstairs, see how we're doing. Hallway is just about done. We're going to actually dig out another big chunk of space for what'll end up being the hospital once we get a few more dwarves in here. So let's designate that right now. Nice near the stairs so that they don't have to go far. And then we will make it nice and big. Plenty of room for the wounded that'll inevitably show up. We have apparently struck olivine, which is a very nice green rock. Not much of it, though. There is, if I remember correctly, olivine has a chance to have diamonds in it, but we're pretty shallow, so I don't think we'd see those here. It was either diamonds or platinum, and I cannot remember which, and I don't want to call up the wiki right now to look it up. It's always a good idea if you're playing this to have the wiki up, just because it has any information you could possibly need on it. And if you watch down at the bottom of the screen here, you can sometimes see things pop up. It's usually notices about people getting interrupted by wild animals, in this case a raven. And if you miss it, you can always hit... what is the key? I want to say Z, but that's not right. Reports R. No, that's combat reports. No reason to report. Nobody's fighting. This is a good thing. I'm just going to start hitting random buttons, see what pops up. There it is. It's A. Announcements. I should have known that. As you can see here, all the things that have popped up. Various different things that we've found. It became summer at one point, no longer raining, then it started raining again. But they keep canceling making things because stuff keeps flying into my caves. There's some of those pretty green rocks that we'll probably use to make into various trinkets to sell to the other dwarves. Let's go back upstairs, get somebody on making some of those. How about? Craftsdorf Workshop is usually nothing vital is made there other than stuff that you can trade. So I like to go into A and then rock with it, which is G, and then make some rock crafts. And it's usually just junk, but like most crafts, people will give you money for it. And somebody will run over there and do that. It looks like we've got a couple tables and chairs made. 4 tables, 2 chairs. That's enough to get started. We can go down here. Go into our fancy, well, not so fancy, dining room. And hit building. And I believe it's T for table. And then it'll ask you where you want to place your table. And we are going to, let's go right here. And you have a choice of what tables you want. We have 1 made out of chalk, 3 made out of gabbro. Doesn't matter in this case, although some materials are worth more, and if you have nobles that are requesting tables, you want to give them expensive tables because that makes them happier. But this is just the dining room, so it doesn't even matter. We're just going to put 2 tables here. Whoops, wrong button. And 2 tables here. And we will put down a chair, because we only have 1 so far. Oh no, we have 2. Chair there. Chair there. Dwarves will run off and grab them, and they will install them. And once they are installed, we can turn this into a dining room. Actually, this looks weird. This is bothering me. I'm going to dig this out. There. Now it's symmetrical. They will hopefully move this rock out of the way of the table, otherwise I don't think it... There it goes, he moved it. Otherwise that would sit a little funny, wouldn't it? Now that we've got our beds all made, we should actually probably go down here and dig out some temporary living quarters for our poor dwarfy friends. We will dig out just basically little hallways to stick a bed in so that they don't have to sleep outside under the rain. Just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's also a surefire way to get some people to migrate to your fort is to build beds, and more people will show up than you have beds available for them, because it's just how it works. Let's go back up, see how we're doing. There's another chair made. I think there's 1 more set to build. You can see here that we've got some crafts building. All our bins are in use. We need to actually order in some more, because we're going to use up quite a few of those. Really wish someone would make the still so that I'm going to actually activate that skill on a couple more dwarves so that we can get that going. Who's not doing anything, do you suppose? This guy is doing... no, he's doing the masonry. Our gem cutter is not doing anything right now. Guess what? You're now a brewer. Bam, now we should go over and build that for us. Got quite a few bins being built. Got quite a bit of planting going on right here. And let's go back down. Put in the chair right here. And right here. Once the doors are available, we can finish that off. That'll be good. There's 1 door right there. Someone needs to grab these chairs and bring them downstairs. This guy is lugging some heavy stone in here to make another door for us. Let's go back topside, see what it looks like. Still raining, as usual. Got quite a bit of wood available there. We should actually probably make a stockpile for that. That will need to be pretty good size, because wood does not go into bins at all. There we go. That's a good size. Now everybody will be running around grabbing wood when they're not doing anything else. Alright, we got both doors. Both doors are here. So we'll go downstairs again. Plonk a couple of doors in here. There's a guy bringing a barrel downstairs, I assume to have a drink. Dwarves are very strange. They don't get a cup. They just bring the whole barrel of ale down to the table. And one thing we need to do is do a set building tasks, which is Q. And you go down to the table right here, any one of the four, and hit R to make it a dining room. Then you hit plus to make it bigger so it fills the room. And the doors keep it from accidentally spilling out into the hallway. And then you hit enter for done. And since this is where we want all our dwarves to hang out, we're going to hit H to make it a meeting hall. And then hit escape when you're done. And now all of our dogs and everything that are sitting outside should come running inside to hang out here. Oops, hitting wrong buttons. There we go. Oh, there they come. Dogs are running down the stairs. There they go. They're hanging out in the dining room now. I believe the horses will come join them as well. Ooh, some migrants. It pops up to the main screen when you have migrants. Right up here. Let's see how many we get. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a duck. 6, 7. 7 migrants. Oh, doubled my population. And they brought a duck. I don't know why they brought a duck. I have no use for a duck. First thing you want to do when you get migrants, jump back over here and hit the read dwarves button. There we go. Group of 7. We're actually going to pause this. And you want to find out which dwarves are actually useful and which are completely useless. There's usually one. Yeah, it's this guy right here. He is got very little in the way of skills, except for he's a clothes maker. Yeah, you're not going to use that much here. So, in a very dwarfy way, guess what? You're now a doctor. That is officially our new chief medical dwarf. I know it sounds very strange, but you won't see a whole lot show up with the doctor skills, so it's best to get one early and just start training him in on it. I set that guy to do crossbow making too, even though I'll probably never use it. This one right here has farming, and yeah, well, we're going to make you do some brewing as well. Actually, this wave, yeah, this wave got 2 millers for no apparent reason. This guy can do some blacksmithing, so he's actually going to be our full-time smith. He's going to do all of that. And smithing also includes wood burning to make charcoal. That works. Let's see. There's medical. This person's a fisherman. We got 2 fishermen. You're not going to be a fisherman anymore. You are now a miner. Congratulations. I don't remember if I brought a 3rd pick or not. What else do we need? What do we need that we don't have? Well, we need a 2nd mason. So this other fisherman is now officially a mason. Congratulations, a promotion. That's not the right dwarf. This one right here. There we go. You're no longer a fisherman. I don't need that many fish. And in case we've got all sorts of changes to be made, we're going to commit changes. Now, and I can't remember which one. This one is going to be our medical dwarf. So what we want to do is go into the end menu, go down to Chief Medical Dwarf. This one right here. Congratulations, you're now a noble. Alright, now we resume. They all have the little X's blinking over them until they get to the meeting point and relax for a minute, then they'll go off and do their jobs. Got one right here who just ate his little mushroom and he left the seed sitting on the chair. There's our duck. I don't know why you're here. Why are you here, duck? The unfortunate thing about a lot of these animals is they might starve. So things other than dogs, I will probably end up butchering them, as horrible as that sounds, unless they're pets. Some animals, this one is not, some animals come and instead of saying tame, they will say a dwarf's name, and that means that they are attached to a dwarf and they will just follow them around everywhere. This one, however, is not. Oh, that's what I needed. I needed somebody who can be a butcher. This guy's got a bunch of cooking skills. And I don't need any dyeing, milling, or plant processing, so now you're a butcher and a tanner. Bam. Done. So let's build a new workshop. The butcher's shop, which is you. Just stick this over here. We'll make it out of olivine, so it's a nice green color. And next to that we'll build a tanner shop so we can make leather out of the skins from butchering things. And we will make that a gabbro, because we don't want to use up the chop that we have. There we go. Okay, let's resume. The dwarves are running around. They're still gathering all the wood that I chopped outside. Let's check on our bin production. That's working. Now that the still is up running, let's brew some drinks. And we will hit R. That'll set it on repeat. It'll go until you either run out of materials or run out of barrels in this case. Let's go downstairs. Our little dugouts are built. We actually need to build 7 more beds. But for now, let's put some beds in there so that people have places to sleep so they don't keep complaining about having to sleep on the grass. I'm just going through this really fast. It's the same method as placing down tables and chairs. It's just with beds instead. And then, now that we have beds and everything, we can go back all the way back up, go over here, hit Q, go over to the wagon, and hit X. They will disassemble the wagon and use the parts, which is basically just 3 pieces of wood, but it's nice to have the extra stuff. Fairly soon we should be going into autumn, unless I missed the announcement. I have not. Fairly soon we'll go into autumn, and what will happen is eventually a dwarf caravan will show up, and they will come and put down a bunch of stuff right here, and we will be able to trade with them for whatever they have brought. Hopefully an anvil. This guy's coming to set up our fancy green butcher shop. Then we can butcher our starting horses and everything for a little bit extra meat. There we go, it's all set up. That's actually really nasty looking with the red. It looks like someone vomited all over our butcher shop. Now in order to set an animal to be butchered, you go into the Z menu, hit enter on animals, and let's do the horse first. Hit B, it's ready for slaughter. Same with the yak, and the gosling too, as long as we're at it. I know it's horrible, but... And then one of the dwarves will go and grab said animal, drag it over to the butcher shop, and they will butcher it. Yep, there goes the horse. Bye, horse. Dwarves will pretty much eat anything that isn't another dwarf, basically. But I'm out of barrels again. Time to make some barrels and beds, and yeah, I am actually probably going to need another carpenter's workshop and another carpenter before too long, because I'm making a lot of things out of wood right now. Meanwhile, let's get some more crafts made, because I want to have enough to give the dwarves that show up in order to get my anvil. There we go, and you can see all the stuff that's getting grabbed from the butcher's shop. The dwarves make use of literally everything that comes out of any kind of slaughtering that is done. You can make rope out of the hair, you can decorate the bones and everything. As you can see, someone's already sleeping in the beds. I haven't even turned them into bedrooms yet. So what we're going to do is make them actual bedrooms, and dwarves will claim them as their personal house. Just hit R and enter, just like you did with the dining room. Done. Oops. I don't know what I just did there. I think I just went to my starting point by hitting F1. Go back down. What we want to do is dig out 7 more little slots for dwarves. Oops, I accidentally dug out a spot in the middle, so that's actually a perfect opportunity. What you can do is, before it's done, is hit X to remove designation, and it works just like setting it. It removes it, and just like it says on the tin. There we go. And our miners will come over there and deal with that. And then once they're done with that, I'm going to dig in this direction and see what we can see. So let's go back up. How are things going over here? Still doing all sorts of... Oh, we need so many more barrels. There's just pieces of meat just laying in the stockpile. One thing we can do, though... Let's go into my kitchen menu, make sure I'm not going to cook up any of my seeds or drink. We don't want to cook up the plant pellets because we're using those and those for brewing, but other than that, everything else we can cook up. Yeah, okay. So we're going to go over to the kitchen and tell them to make lavish meals repeatedly. And the dwarves like actual prepared meals better than just gnawing on a raw hunk of meat, clearly. So, yeah, they'll gather materials, bring it all here, and make it into a nice meal. It doesn't sometimes make sense. I've seen stuff made out of literally nothing but dwarven wine and mushroom seeds. But for some reason, the dwarves still love it. So I'm not gonna knock it if it works. We're almost done digging out more dugouts. Then we can put more beds. Then everybody can have a bed, and then everybody will be happy. Now, at some point, I'm going to need to get some defense going, which is going to be difficult without a forge to make metal tools. But eventually, bad guys will start showing up, either goblins or undead or something, to come and say hi and wreak havoc on my fort. And if I don't have a military or trap set up in my entryway, they're just going to walk in and everybody will die, and that's game over. And we don't want that. But hopefully, the caravan comes soon. And hopefully these ravens go away and quit scaring my dwarves.